top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. Till I reach the top somehow. Top somehow. top somehow. That I will achieve, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, I want to say a very pleasant night to all who logged on to the Ian Patches Liburd Facebook and YouTube pages. I want to welcome you to another edition of Straight Talk. I understand that ZIZ has just joined as well, ZIZ Radio, and we do humbly apologize. I do humbly apologize for this late start. I know it's silly season, so lots of things are happening, but there's no excuse whatsoever for this late start. But my Straight Talk family, I want to welcome you. For those who have just joined me, Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's in the process continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as one of the freest countries in the entire world. And that's on a solemn note tonight. I learned of the passing of one of my neighbors, Mrs. Edwards of Bird Rock, and I do want to convey sincere condolences to her daughter Jean, and son Brian Edwards, and grandson Jonelle. I want to also extend condolences to the family of our dear brother Sanchez, who passed away on the weekend, I'm told. Very sad news. I don't recall his mother, but I know his father very well, my dear brother Noel, and I extend condolences to the entire family. But at this late start, I want to just say good night again to all who join me on Straight Talk for another edition of Straight Talk. I believe it is the 249th edition of Straight Talk on ZIZ Radio. So those in St. Kitts and Nevis and those throughout the entire Caribbean. What about those on the World Wide Web, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, and certainly there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And I tried to get the COVID-19 update, but I'll get it for you if it comes to me during the course of the program. But I want to just remind you that COVID-19 is still around in St. Kitts and Nevis and other parts of the world. And I wanted tonight to address an issue as it relates to what's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I listened to a recording of the Narrative Live Special, which is a program hosted by Wendy Chasto of Grenada. And under the caption, Getting Ready for Elections in St. Kitts and Nevis, that program featured Sean Richards and Mark Brantley. And truth be told, I was taken aback by the lies that were peddled on this regional program by these two misleaders. I must call them misleaders because their behavior have qualified them, in my view, as misleaders. But more so, I was totally embarrassed, believe me or not. I was totally embarrassed, my Straight Talk family, by the level of incompetence and clear lack of understanding of how, and I say so with respect, there's a clear lack of understanding from these two misleaders with respect to how government and the CBI works. I have come to that conclusion because of the misinformation that these two misleaders, Sean Richards and Mark Brantley, have been touting on every media platform that they have access to. they have described, or they have in fact deliberately tried for weeks to mislead the country. For example, about Capital Project 0605119, described in Volume 2 of the budget estimates as construction of the new correctional facility, which they have labeled as the prison. Now, for the benefit of those who may not know, the budget estimates provide details of the intentions of the government in relation to expenditure or the money it plans to spend for any fiscal year, and the fiscal year of this government runs from January to December 31st in each year. It also provides its revenue projections, and which are presented to the National Assembly for approval, and by extension presented to the public. Now, all capital projects are expected to stimulate economic growth and are financed from the revenue generated and collected by the government, as well as from loans and or grants. This prison, to use their label, it was estimated at a cost of $88 million as stated in the budget, whereas $1 million, according to the estimates, was expected to come from revenue. However, the cabinet subsequently received a submission from Skipper, that's the St. Kitts Investment Promotional Agency, and Skipper recommended support for a proposal from a developer to construct the new correctional facility under the Alternative Investment Option, AIO. Now, this option was launched in late 2021 and is a third option, or a third form of investment, I should say, under our Citizenship by Investment program, the CBI. And it provides the government with the means of achieving its capital investment goals without having to use its limited resources or from incurring additional debt. The cabinet not only approved the prison project, or this new correctional facility, to be correct, but it also approved the shares or the units of investment for this project, contrary to the blatant lies that Sean Richards and Mark Brantley continue to peddle, like this one.
We have a number of issues with prison is budgeted at $88 million. However, what you have happening is that 5,500 passports actually have been approved for sale under the Alternative Investment Fund for the Citizenship by Investment Program at $175,000 per passport. That equates to approximately $2.4 billion.
Now, my Straight Talk family, that blatant lie was already debunked by his own colleague and chairman of the People's Action Movement, Jonel Powell, but he continues to peddle that lie. Here's what Jonel Powell said.
The project doesn't cost $2.4 billion. The shares that have been allocated can amount to that if they were able to sell all of them. The project doesn't cost $2.4 billion. The shares that have been allocated can amount to that if they were able to sell all of them.
Now, my Straight Talk family, Sean Richards and Mark Brantley nonetheless would make us believe that this project was shrouded in secrecy. And that is so far from the truth, because this is what he also said.
The prison appears to be a secret project of Dr. Harris. The members of cabinet were not even aware that construction had started on this prison.
That's what he'll make us believe. Again, it was John L. Powell, his chairman and colleague in PAM, who again exposed the big lie of Sean Richards.
Appears to be a secret project of Dr. Harris. The members of cabinet were not even aware that construction had started on this prison.
The prison is being built in terms of financing is similar to what we did with the Park Hyatt. A developer comes in, presents a project, and they are allocated X number of shares, which represent citizenships, which they can make available to the investors. The only difference is that with this particular project, when it is completed, it will be turned over to the government to manage and to operate as a prison, which means that the government did not have to find the money to build the prison. The member, myself and the other PAM ministers were part of the approval process for that project while we were in government. It is a private project. It is being done by a private company, as with the Park Hyatt, and so there is no need, it doesn't go through any government process in terms of having to put out tenders for different contracts and all of that.
My Straight Talk family, I'm taking the time out to discuss this tonight because of the disingenuous and the dotish arguments being advanced by Sean Richards and Mark Brantley. But let us examine the dotish arguments of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley, who are both acting as if they do not know how the CBI works. Now let us go to volume 1. Volume 1 of the budget estimates, which I have here, my Straight Talk family, and to page 5 to be exact. And when we look at the financial summaries of the fiscal operations of the government, it revealed that an amount of $270,807,661 was actually collected in 2020 as non-tax revenue derived from the CBI. The projections for 2021 were $500 million, whereas the estimate for 2022 is $400 million. So if we use the foolish, imbecile argument of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley that the units of investment will be 2.4 billion, then the next PLP government that will take office in sometime in August, the next PLP government will therefore get a windfall. Let's look at it. The next PLP government will therefore receive $50,000 on each unit of investment, which will total $275 million, US dollars that is, or $746 million Eastern Caribbean dollars in passport processing and due diligence fees. So let us imagine what a new PLP government can do with almost $1 billion in non-tax revenue from this alternative investment option under the Citizenship by Investment program. We can build a new hospital. We can fund the National Health Insurance Scheme. We can look at those families who still have roof problems. We can introduce a new roof repair program for low-income family homes. And, of course, we can increase the poverty alleviation program, increase the PAP from $500. So when you examine the dotish argument of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley, who continue to talk about government spending $2.4 billion on a prison, my people, it is such a foolish argument. The St. Kitts Nevis government relies on foreign direct investments to cope with the many challenges it faces. The CBI accounts for approximately 30% of GDP. So if you talk about expenditure, then talk about the revenue generated as well. You talk about $2.4 billion to be spent on the prison. But what about the revenue that will be generated from each unit of investment? The new PLP government and the people will not only receive hundreds of millions of dollars, but it will also receive a physical asset without spending 1 cent of the people's money. No capital outlay whatsoever. And Sean continues to lie. He continues to lie every time he goes to a microphone or he stands before a microphone. He lies, according to old people, he lies like when horse is trotting. Even about water. He lied about the situation in Keon not being given priority. Here's what he said.
The government only in December last year with Deed LLC to undertake well drilling remediation in the Keon and Basti areas. We are confident that a permanent solution to the water shortage with the good people of Keon have endured over the years would soon be a thing of the past. You have communities like Keon without water for quite some time. For us, that should be a priority over building a new prison. You have communities like Keon without water for quite some time. For us, that should be a priority over building a new prison.
My Straight Talk family, the fact is since last year, or since in 2020, beg your pardon, Sean Richards came to the country and had this to say.
Only in December last year, signed a contract for over $6 million with Deed LLC to undertake well drilling remediation in the Keon and Basti areas. We are confident that a permanent solution to the water shortage with the good people of Keon have endured over the years would soon be a thing of the past.
And that's Sean Richards. But my grandmother always said that a liar has no memory. Because Sean Richards told the country back in early 2021 that the government signed a $6 million contract with Deed since December of 2020. So Sean must therefore tell the country why he took over 12 months to implement that project in Keon. Well, I have my own views about Deed, but I'll tell you about that some other time. Mark Brantley and Sean Richards, however, seem to be in a lying competition because this is one of the big lies Brantley told the media, the regional media, just a few days ago. This is what Brantley told the regional media just a few days ago, my Straight Talk family. I could not believe when I heard this, my Straight Talk family, Brantley said this.
We put trust and confidence in Timothy in the ideals of team unity. He was in what we had agreed, the principles that would guide us. He used team unity as a construct for personal power and self-aggrandizement. And when we saw where this was headed and we sought to correct it, we engaged privately for many months. We would have written, I as Premier of Nevis since 2017, I would have engaged in a letter writing campaign with him engagements with him one-on-one, but I think it became apparent to us all that he was not prepared to change course.
You know, my Straight Dog family, the extent to which Mark Brantley went to lie on Prime Minister Harris is astonishing, to say the least. But the late Abraham Lincoln sums it up well when he said that, quote, "No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar." No man, he said, has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. And that quote from the late Abraham Lincoln, President Lincoln, epitomizes the compulsive liar that Mark Brantley is, who forgot saying this in February 2020. This is what Mark Brantley said in 2020, believe it or not, my Straight Dog family.
Dr. Harris, congratulations, sir, on 5 years as a brilliant Prime Minister and steward of this country. And to my colleagues, I believe that we have all sought to do the best that we can, and that the successes that we've had could not have been possible without you and your support, without the grace of God and His support. And I would ask that we continue in that vein to stay steadfast, on course. We are on the right track with the right leadership to take this country forward and upwards.
That's what he said. Although he claimed since 2017 he was having problems. But as I said to you last Thursday night, my Straight Dog family, I will say to you again that the upcoming election, as premature as it may be, it's going to be the most important election since adult suffrage in this country. And I said to you as well on last Thursday night, because for those who said, wherever I am going, you're going with me, I have told you without any hesitation whatsoever that I am going with PLP. And I want you to come with me. I also told you that I am going with Jackie. And I expect you to come with me, my Straight Talk family. Prime Minister Harris, upon reflection, got everything done. He reduced our public debt. One of the first acts he undertook was to pay US $117 million owed to the IMF. Under his leadership, we eradicated rampant crime and violence. Don't talk about the COVID-19. He managed COVID-19 well, using his life first strategy. That truth cannot be denied. He ensured that the government lived within its means and made sure he always saved for the rainy day. Mark Brantley, Sean Richards, and Terence Drew have no political instinct, none whatsoever, my Straight Dog family. And if you ask me, Terence Drew already confessed. Drew has already confessed that he intends to end the PAP. We cut him on that hot mic.
We want to end PAP. I think it's Nevis Labour Party will end PAP. Require to lift this particular family out of poverty. Would this family require $500? That family might require the sewing machines of cloth and so on. So she likes to bathe. Why not give us to want to end PAP? I think it's Nevis Labour Party will end PAP, and we'll assess the situation. What would it require to lift this particular family out of poverty? Would this family require $500? That family might require the sewing machines of cloth and so on. So she likes to bathe. Why not give us to...
My Straight Dog family, we have to be careful. The Labour Party will end PAP. Mark Brantley, on the other hand, has already sent the Nevis economy to the toilet. Sean Richards has bankrupted Skellig and has failed to address the serious charges of corruption. We heard that from our Bible report that Noah took 100 years to build an ark, but Sean in just 2 years built an ark for Noah, costing Skellig $10,000 per month, and the UDC as well. I hope that the new minister has stopped that. But the corruption of Sean in these few years is something we have, my Straight Dog family, to examine.
I went down UDC, they tried to put my name in. Of Tatola got himself in some issues, a friend of mine. They try to associate me with it. They say, how I have paid off for my house in Crabbill. Yes, I have paid off for my house in Crabbill. I have a villa that I purchased over at Horizons. I have piece of land I purchased over Half Moon. That's why I got all kind of vehicles. That's why I got accounts all over the place.
And yes, my Straight Dog family, he has to address the corruption. And they talk about the prison. But they call wolf, wolf, wolf. It may be better to build that new prison because 1840 is overcrowded. And my Straight Dog family, since Prime Minister Harris fired the 6 political failures, the government, we will agree, has settled down. Don't you think? Prime Minister Harris has demonstrated the ability to not just solve a problem, but to turn that problem into an opportunity. Examine the Peace Initiative and the opportunity that has been provided for some young people who have lost their way. And this is the mark of true leadership. Even Dr. Douglas confessed recently. He confessed recently that he saw potential in Tim Harris.
Harris, of course, I had seen Harris, of course, I had seen Harris as a potential leader. Harris, of course, I had seen Harris as a potential leader.
So even Douglas has confessed that he saw Harris as a potential leader. So where else can we go? St. Kitts Nevis is still recovering from COVID-19. The fallout from the Russian invasion of Ukraine has disrupted the food supply. It has caused oil and gas shortages worldwide. Look at our situation in St. Kitts in terms of the cost of gasoline. The question, therefore, I ask tonight, my people, as we go into this premature election, are as follows. Can we gamble with the leadership of St. Kitts Nevis at this time in our development? In these times of complexity, unpredictability, and uncertainty, which leader would you believe or would you trust to fix our problems? That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I want to hear from you. So I'll open the lines. Again, I apologize for the tardy start, but we'll make up on the other side of 10 o'clock. The numbers are 646-829-6672 or 869-663-6672. My Straight Dog family, you can access me via our email as well at zizstraighttalk@gmail.com. A leader who can fix the problems is what we ought to be looking for at this time in our history. These are serious times. The next couple of weeks, we have to make a decision, a very important decision, perhaps the most important decision we have ever made in our lives. So my Straight Talk family, do not be afraid. Do not fear. Let's respect others. And of course, to achieve that, we must first respect ourselves. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us, my Straight Talk family, as we say and do the things, be beneficial to all concerned. It's now 7 before 9 o'clock. I go to the lines. Caller, you're live. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, good evening, Honorable. You forget to mention the guest.
Rockefeller, just turn your equipment down. Every time you call, I tell you the same thing, my brother.
I will like you if you can check King Rockefeller, please.
King Rockefeller, I'm sorry. King Rockefeller, would you be kind to turn your equipment off? I want the whole world to hear the King. What's on your mind?
Okay. Yeah. You forgot to mention how high gas is thinking. Yes. You forget this man is involved in station business. He is involved in a gas station business.
Okay.
He called everything, he called nothing about the fabrication house over the. He ain't say nothing about the hut. He's down in campaigning. Well, she's supposed to be on government job. You know? But these are things they want to control and think they could do as they like will. Well, I used to have a lot of respect for him. But when I hear Mark Brantley said that he stay home and he answer his phone, and that's what the agreement they make. No, that's not the agreement. The agreement was 2 terms, 5 years. He allowed him to do 1 and 2, starting into 2, and pull the rope from underneath him. And they're talking about comparability and disability and all kind of things. You're still dreaming. I'll be back later, Honorable.
Thank you very much, the People's King. And yes, we ought to punish these guys for mashing up what the good thing we had. As you said, they agreed for 2 terms, but 2 terms, there's some 3 years still left in the second term. So why they had to mash up a good thing? Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Yes, caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Okay, I seem to have lost the caller. It's some 4 minutes before the 9 o'clock. That's before the 9 o'clock hour. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Seem to have. Are you there, caller? You seem to. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Bear with me there, callers. We seem to be having some cross lines here and some difficulty with that telephone line all of a sudden. Just bear with me, caller. I'll just bear with me we're gonna seem to have some lines tied up here. Okay. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
My bunny lies over the ocean.
How art thou, my dear brother? My bunny lies over the ocean. I haven't heard from Munchurch for a long time. What's on your mind, my brother?
Well, let me say good night to you and good night to all the listeners. You play one clip, the saying potential leader. Did you?
Yes, I did. The former Prime Minister.
Well, listen, the stage, you done pass the stage a long time, you know. now you reach one proven.
Well, he was
excellent. You don't pass the stage way. You don't pass the stage way. You catch me?
You're right.
So no more no more potential. This proven now. You get that?
I got you loud and clear. I think he was reflecting on back then. He was Douglas saw Timothy Harris back then as a potential leader, but he really should update that and say he has been proven a great leader.
Upgrade.
Yes.
Upgrade.
Yes,
and no time for gambling. All right?
That's right. No time for gambling.
No time for gambling.
I totally agree with you, my brother. Thanks a lot. Yes, my dear brother. Yeah. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good night, Ambassador. How are you doing?
I am peaceful, my brother. How is Ras Aya?
Make it thank me in the eyes of your tongue now, right now, relaxing you.
You come back home.
Well, I'll be passing through now and again. Give thanks to good night to your listeners by radio and internet, and good night to your program that you set for the farmer that you're discussing to the people at large and to the general public. And we like to say that the formality that you've given out tools of the CBI program and different areas of the connection when it comes to economical stability. I would like to ask, with these people who are part of the as they call them, developers, who are investors, what is it that much of the program that they are part of, many of the people are not in track with those program settings, especially when it comes to capital projects? Not just the jail alone, but you have other things that are initiating the thing, showing up the development in St. Kitts and Nevis as developers that let's say their investment coming through the CBI program.
I didn't quite get the question. You said, why what?
Why is it that developers who are a part of the investment, right? They how come when they do this project, what they do as layout, much of our people at a common level don't get much no part of the work ethic when it comes to the social program that they are part of.
Well, I understand you. You're talking about local employment.
Yes.
Okay. That's a point. I know. I am aware that when I was there, the government insisted that these developers, to use your words, try to employ a local from the local workforce. I also know that when we got into office, for example, that project over there in Frigate Bay had 150 Chinese working there, and we tried to correct that, and the developer claimed that was part of the agreement back then in the Labour government. But it is a good point, and we trust that this new project would hire local employees. A matter of fact, we've heard the former Deputy Prime Minister making noise about a local getting to do the blocks and so on, which was so So sad to hear him say that, but I take your point. Are you there?
You're kind of breaking up now, Ambassador. But anyway, let me let this video, please, because I want other people to come and make the input, because it's about education we're looking at here. Not about looking to see who could party line here. Because all the party line, they are keeping all people under the bottom of the economical ladder. I mean, I care what level who win this election, unless you only have social orientation towards all people, so in the path of development and economical stability, because we are not here to beg, and we come to be bowing to no way of humanity. We have a human right, we have a way of our dignity, and we have a right to being in our sovereign status, as they call us, independent state, to know how to deal with our affairs. So I'm quoting this here tonight. Stop let investors have much of our development when it comes to the social impact of our people. Because if we continue like that, then back ask the question, what are we going to do when it comes to our people, of when we watch at how things are impacting to, as they call, centralization of power. And if all you're doing really to educate the people, then you all have a war on our hand. You know, whoever who administrators going, trying to educate the people, because it's time to us to understand where are we going from here. We have a statement, Ambassador. Be wise, let the Almighty protect you, and the ancestors keep you positive within their life. Have a good night when you go forward. Give thanks.
Give thanks, my brother. I think your point is well made in the context of ensuring that there's local input when it comes to these investment projects. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Patrick. Hope all is well, sir.
All is well, my brother. Yourself?
Great, doing great. Deputy PM Hamilton, Deputy Prime Minister, he was in top form, as were all of the other, ministers at that cabinet press conference. I mean, the guy was really knocked it out the ballpark, There's really no need for any election, really, because things are just running smoothly. That guy Harris, man, he's the one of all of these guys you see have, what a thing, leadership. You understand? You see, when they went on up at that conference up there, especially that boy Brantley, like a dirt bike, and Dr. Harris just sat there quietly with class. You understand? But these guys, they made us proud, Hamilton and all the other ministers here. Now, Patches, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis owe you a debt of gratitude. You are the conscience of St. Kitts and Nevis. You are. Trust me. You're straight shoulder, and thank God for you. But these things I'm hearing, you don't shout to get elected. Granted, the people in Nevis want to be a fool, let them go ahead and do it. But the things I'm hearing is blowing me apart. You're one of the few people preventing Shylock Brantley from destroying St. Kitts and Nevis. You. Trust me. And I hope Paddy come down his behind over there in Nevis, Even if he's not running, he got it. Because the Harris, they had these three governments in Nevis, especially the other two behind. That's why they all get elected. That's why Pam got elected, because of Harris. And they've screwed it up big time. You understand? Like I said, Charlotte Rankin, he don't keep. You see him, he's always running the people about going to Serbia, got him to Serbia to university. He can do that to the black petitions and the visions, but now he's took it. He's got to the best schools in England, the UK. He's took it. The best education. Down in Serbia, they're getting ready to go fight down there in the Balkan. That guy, look, the boys are nasty. You understand me? He don't say Nevis is one, is a peak, one peak. It's not flat line, just one peak. He said Nevis is one peak. No, when he finishes destroying St. Kitts and Nevis, he gonna go down to that hilly Spice Island, and we like this thing. You don't give a crap about the vision. And the visions are not stupid. They know better than that. He said, Nevis is one peak. Why you haranguing the people to go to Serbia when Serbia is preparing to have a war? That's Serbia. But his children get it to the no. He can pull that nonsense and transition Richard. Sean Richard has disappointed me. He can pull him around by the nose. But not all the visions and petitions are dummies. He and Sean are Nevis, man. Nevis. Babbling neighbor. Two of them liars. One last thing, Patrick. I saw your friend Dwight, I was going on the circus, and I see he's going down, man. But he still have a loud mouth, but he's going down. So someone, cousin said to me, oh, look, boy, he's on his boat. I started to say, maybe Patrick broke it, but I let it go. But he's going down, man. But like I said, he still have a mouth. But let me tell you, if the NRP, CCM, coalition had to, God forbid, had to win in this place, which is not going to happen. I have to worry about these people. Oh, man, it will be bloodshed time. Okay. These guys will be Sean and Brantley. Oh, Jesus God. They'll, oh, man, with bloodshed. Same thing for Douglas. And let me explain to you all. That boy up there, he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. And Muslim men don't have anything for women. You understand? They have no regard for women. So, forget labor. Well, there's no labor thing. I'm just going to bring that boy Douglas say, are you kidding me? But anyhow, petitions us now. Just keep patches, just keep playing. I can't believe this about what this guy Sean, I talked Brantley was, oh, Jesus Christ. Anyhow, patches, God bless you. You are the conscience of Cindy and Nevis. And one that a cousin of mine, she said, did you see the meeting up in Greenland? I said, no. She said, oh, man, a lot of people was up there. But you know, PLP is now a young people party. It's a fact. And a lot of older folks too. So you guys got it. You can take it away.
Okay.
Okay? Patrick, I'll talk to you sometime. But God bless you, and you keep at them. Sean let me down. I'm surprised. That boy, what's his name? The younger one. Jonel is not a bad person. But once he gets things straightened up, he's going to be the head of the party. But I find he and the guy from number 2, they have a lot in common. Okay. You don't see Jonel acting all crazy like these people. Anyhow, let me don't keep again.
Yes,
I'll talk to you again if you come to us.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. We go back to the lines. It's now 10 minutes past 9 o'clock. Caller, you're live.
and argue with the fair share. The fair share stunt. But the people of Nevis are not stupid, Mark. You are deceiver. You deceive me. I had believed in you, Mark. But then I find out where you are. A backstabber. Because before 2015, you all agreed that Dr. Harris is the most fit and capable one to lead the party. And as soon as the election come, time to swear in, you're going to know half who may go kick meeting. But boy, you don't want him to be that, and now you're coming talking, telling people to vote for you, vote for who? And you, son, let me tell you this. The people of Sandy Point, Fitzgerald Valley and Pombe, they all voted for you. They're going there to represent them, Sean. And regardless of what money you have, that you could have bought this property and that property and pay off for this and pay off for that. That is beside the point. That has nothing to do with representation, the people who put you in there. You disrespected the people, them. 3 months you ain't gone in there because you get in a pocketary confused and a border. And because the Prime Minister ain't get the Commissioner of Police to move your name. You refuse to write cabinet for 3 months? So what the people put you there for? To be waiting to see when you gonna go in there if your name come off?
Okay.
And now you're coming back telling people to vote for you? Why now are the same people them put you in there and you deceive them? Bring them back bluntly and the two I went and look to duck but go okay and disrespect people. Why go sit down, you don't flat.
Okay.
Until I come back with something else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. And
They should find out to that person.
thanks, my dear brother, and do apologize for the little glitch, the early part of that call. It's now 9:15. We need a leader who can fix the problems. Caller, do you know one?
Hello, good night.
Good night, my brother.
Good night, Honorable Ambassador. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm very peaceful. I listened to your opening remarks. I know even though you were a little bit late, but
sorry,
I must say, no man, it's okay. I must say that your opening remarks were quite on point. And I want to just use the opportunity to remind the nation of what is really at stake at this time. When one looks at the realities now happening in the world, I know you sitting from the position, if you were to speak from another hat, you would be able to even concur with what I am saying. That in what is happening in Sri Lanka right now, that there are reports coming out saying that developing nations need to be careful, particularly SID, small island developing states, like St. Kitts, need to be careful because there is quite a lot at stake in regards to the management of economy, the issue of food scarcity or food diversity. Yes? And so when we look at what is happening in Sri Lanka, the situation in Sri Lanka was created because of mismanagement of the economy in Sri Lanka. And I ask myself the question, could we have another Sri Lanka situation being repeated here in the ECLAC, which is the Caribbean and Latin America? And I say, but for not, if it had not been for the mercy and the grace of God, and with the leadership of Dr. Harris in 2015, and the people and yourself who sat at cabinet and others who were part of the formation of unity, that we might have had a situation where things would have been unable to pay its debt, or would have been going down a road where it would have been to a road of no return. And so this is why at this time it is important that people look and realize that with all the fluff and the thought that what others will do when they get there. You don't need to talk about what you will do when you get there. You need to see what's happening now. And what is happening now is that it is sound, prudent, strong, and disciplined fiscal management that is keeping this country afloat. And I can speak this way because I am experiencing it. I have seen it. I remember in 2011, in 2012, in 2000, when Jamaica, matter of fact, ambassador, was on the brink of becoming a Greece. Our debt situation was way high, similar to that of Penkit. And so I am speaking of experience, and so I know what can happen when an administration is elected into office who doesn't understand how to manage the economy well. People need to think for a minute. The decision that I am now making, how will it affect my children's life? How will it affect me going to buy bread? One of the major things in Sri Lanka is fuel, gasoline, right? We have not looked at how we can bring back Venezuela at the table. What's happening in Russia? What's happening with the OPEC nations? If there's not, we need an administration that can sit with the Venezuelans, that can sit with the United States and say, look, and have a voice in CARICOM to say we now need to bring back the Venezuelans into trading oil for the region, or else things are going to continue to get out of hand. And I believe Dr. Harris continued to show, because of how Penkit supported Venezuela when it back was against the wall. And I believe that should the Venezuelans come back into play in the oil market, that would be very good for the country, and they definitely would support having Dr. Harris as a leader, because they knew that when their back was against the wall, the Harris-led administration had their back.
Thank you very much, my dear brother.
Thank you very much, my dear brother.
Yes, for that.
You're welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you. For that, what I call international perspective, for those who may be unaware, the protesters have occupied the residences of the president and I think the prime minister or premier of Sri Lanka after that economic meltdown. So the whole world is facing difficulty. And as premature as our elections may seem, we have to be careful, my Straight Talk family, in terms of our choice. We need a leader who can fix our problems, not make problems. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patches, good night.
How is Mr. Politics? Good night.
Oh, man, I'm here. I'm here just listening as usual and just trying to get in. Patches first, I always want to thank God for life. Thank God for the Federation. Think it's a Nevis, a country I born into. I live in Top now. And thank God for the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, and his government. They are doing a wonderful job in spite of what's happening around him. Patches, you are so right. I do not believe that Mark Brantley had any intention from the beginning to work with Dr. Harris with a team unity government. And they will pay for it. I believe the people of Nevis will send a message to him.
They should.
Because, Patches, when you look at it, Patches, he put Sean Richard in entanglement when Sean Richard been a winner. So Sean must tell lies. Because he got to tell lies to get out right now. You understand? Mm-hmm. And the people have no other choice in Sinkit and Nevis to put an NRP government and a PLP government in office. Because, Patches, the record here to show with the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris. The record there to show. And I do not think no one can dispute that the record there to show. All the nationals them who talking and saying a negative thing. When I listen to them on the political platform, I listened to them with that political meeting last night. They was in government. And they is telling the people what they're going to do when they get in. And they refuse to serve the people when they was there. They excuse themselves from cabinet and all those ignorance. Patches we say 60 people and 98% literate. And we want to see where our young men and women going to take this country because them are the future of this country. Patches, when I got to wonder and talk to some of these young men and the things they're gonna tell me. I said, no, I don't go down the road, going back to Labour. What Labour you are talking about? You forget about your brother? You forget about your uncle? You forget what happened to your father? Back in the past? Going all the time? No, we can't go back there. Because in the community of boys, West One right now, in the village, I working very hard. You got to go in Tony. I put the car in. One day so much in them young. I think he live in the village now. He got in one little car rental. Me either go on and speak to the young man speak to the young man, and we telling them that where the PLP government could take this country because the performance of Dr. Harris with all they was in cabinet and minding him and doing all kind of things. You all don't have no other choice to work for the PLP government. Oh, well, they got problem with it, they got problem with that, they got problem. No, I said, no, listen to me. When Dr. Harris is going to settle down as the Prime Minister of this country, he and his cabinet and his ministers and these new elected ministers they're going to bring in. There's the doctors, there's the lawyers around. There are doctors there, but doctors have something else. Mr. Mark Williams, the doctor. And I tell them about it, Patches. Patches, we got to get real in this country. Because we see where our country is going under the farmer regime. And we cannot let it go back there. And they got to reject Pam, because Pam was there, and Pam ignored to serve the people. So forget about Pam, and forget about Labour. Let me move to the next era with the PLP government going into a unity with the NRP. I think you have a wonderful night. May God bless you.
Have a wonderful night as well, my Street Dog family. And you're so right. They had the opportunity and they lost it. And the people must punish PAM and they must punish CCM as well for what they did to the country. Call you live.
Mr. Ian Patches Liburd, greetings. How are you, my brother?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
I'm very, very, very good, listening to your interesting program as usual. You always bring the educational topics that is meaningful to people to the floor.
Thank you.
And that is so good. No matter how you get criticized, you always bring the topics. Because it's through education our people will get their liberation. To gamble with our future, Mr. Patchett, is because we are in a premature election. And when you have food trees, and they have our foods, and hurricane come and blow them, some drop on the ground. Sometimes you go out and pick the best out of what job. Even sometimes it's bad food. It's because it's a premature election. Ones and ones have to pick the best candidates from what is substantial in our nation. Mr. Patches, and this is with no support, this is the reality of what's in the country. Dr. Harris has moved the country from Douglas policies. Remember, it was said to us, the people, that Douglas labor is not a Bratcher labor. And Harris has moved the country from Douglas policies to a union policies. In the sense, there was a haircut. Even though you were here, there was money in the treasury. There was a haircut under the former administration. We have no haircut under this administration. House roof needed fixing. Even though there was money in the treasury under this administration, house roof got fixed. They had a cry for electricity in the former administration. The leader said when he see a bill, he could cry. Under this administration, the leadership say, the arrears, don't bother with the arrears. Concentrate on your current bill. And it would be irresponsible for people to let the current bill go back in arrears. Because when you get blessing from leadership, you should always acknowledge it, because you don't find leadership around the world does that to their people. There were tax increase under the former administration. There's no tax increase on the people under this administration. Between St. Kitts and Nevis, improvement, the living, the condition has improved. The King of Nevis said that to the whole world. So the policies of the Harris administration is far different from the Douglas administration. I didn't hear that.
Sorry, I was going to say this is people oriented.
People oriented. You see, people said the political leaders should work together. And you see, when people working in unity, you got to off your old court. And I realize many of the elected leaders, they still have on the party coat, because you must be able to share bonds with the one who next to you.
True.
And if they're saying all these things about Harris, and his first term was successful, that means he's the one who got himself mature amongst them. He's the one who showed maturity amongst them. That's why you could still have a stable unity administration. And it's good. Jonel can speak the way we speak because you are part of a government. And if you are part of a government and you sanction certain things, don't go on like you just change, or don't go on like you was in opposition. I expected to hear more uplifting words from Mark and Sean, seeing that they were part of a government that is successful. It's not a failure government, it's a successful government. And what Mark Branty failed to do for Nevisians, what he, I use a word in capital letters, what he failed to do for Nevisians, helped to reform the Constitution with the extra 2 seats that he got. He left flat with that. And that's one of his failures. He should have helped to reform the Constitution, especially on behalf of Nevis. And Sean, he should think a little much more better. He was in the best position in his life, Deputy Prime Minister. All you have to do, work with the government and implement the policies that you are assigned to do. Because he had his name, he had his picture on the poster, Sebastian High School coming soon.
Yes, yes.
I mean, if you had a doubt about that, why you put your name, why you put your picture there for? And not only that, when John will come the education minister, he tell the whole world he gonna see to it that John will build the school. So why make those positive statements and now you acting so strange? It's funny. It's funny. Men have to get themselves mature, and that's the problem. Maturity. Listen, the IMF talk about fiscal resilience. It's about saying it's the talking about. And you only can have fiscal resilience through management. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong and stay healthy. God bless.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. God bless you as well. What a sound intervention. Mark Brantley. Could you imagine Mark Brantley at the NIA? His budget had a $98 million deficit. Not one, not two, $98 million deficit budget. What that tells you about his fiscal management skills. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
That is good night.
My dear brother Jam Down, good night. How are you?
How are you, my brother? I'm fine. Just listening.
I am peaceful, my brother.
That is, you sit down in Parliament in Cabinet in 2015, 2016, 2017, 18, right?
Yep.
You have to tell its countries who do the drawings over at the new correctional facility. Because we had a big bet that is a petition. A little man is who present the prince to the government and approve.
Stacey Hobson.
The same prince where the train is walking afar. So me and understand how they could call in Timothy Greedy when a poor man is who benefit a lot of millions, I understand. You had a big talk in the circus concerning it. I got $200 to pick up and all.
Stacey
because
Hobson.
I don't listen to things,
Stacey Hobson and Associates. Stacey Hobson Associates did the drawings for the prison. You're so correct.
A new tongue man.
True.
And next thing I want to ask, Patrick, is how people in the right conscience could say that Timothy ain't the right man to lead thinking. The guy have proven himself all over, can't do mousetrap. We never seen that like this before,
Never.
Instead, these guys go there and try to loan the government that's what they're running. Man, look like they was desperately undermining the guy, and them is not going to support them things, because think it's force and people matter. The next thing I want to talk about is the inmate in 1840. All of the end of the said not talk about here for me. That prison was built, and it will build, because all who India come from a mother's womb, and we clear. That's why you don't clear. That's why you got to build. Actually, lastly, it got a lady, they call her the nuts lady, up and down, trying to bring down Sinkage Hospital. Sinkage Hospital is one of the best people in the islands, St. Vincent. We could compete with any one of them. And this lady constantly in the ear trying to bring down playing politics because she listening to some people in the circle who said a boy don't want to put their name on the ballot paper. Put my name on the ballot paper and we see how intelligent I be. Because this country ain't one eye, how it's done was. So the prosperity agenda has to go on. And Timothy has to get back this country. He's the right man for the country. Have a good night, Patrick. I will be back. Here's radical culture and Jacqueline.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Jam Down, always straight and to the point. This email reads, "Good evening, Ambassador Liburd. Hope you're doing well and continuing your ministry of giving. There were 3 prime ministers in St. Kitts and Nevis since political independence. Dr. Simmons, Dr. Douglas, and Dr. Timothy Harris. The 2 former prime ministers made their contributions, but Dr. Harris stands out because he has successfully, among other things, brought the country out of the COVID-19 pandemic and brought stability to the country. Other Caribbean countries bigger than St. Kitts and Nevis are in the hands of the IMF. 6 former parliamentarians are responsible for the premature elections and the need to be punished. I trust the electorate will use their brain for the betterment of the country," reads that email. Let's go back to the lines, caller. Thank you for holding your live.
Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Patrick.
This is the Bible man. Good evening, my brother.
Okay. I was trying to get in contact with you.
Now, in Proverbs chapter 6, you will say there, these things that God hates, and is abomination unto him. And he continues to say, a proud look. It comes and he say, they run into mischief, and they speak lies. And the word of God said, they sow discord among brethren. Now the situation is it. I am telling you, God is watching people. When you go up on the radio station and start to speak a lie, God hates it. And a lot of people don't really let it read in Proverbs chapter 6. And he tell you right there. And so, Mr. Patrick, it is so good to really listen to people. And I used to listen to a radio station. And I refrain from listening to the station there. But all coming out of them mouth is propaganda, lies, and all them things there. I stop listening to them.
Okay.
Now, you want to say something I am listening to right now? Frank and Candy and Patrick show.
Street talk.
And so, in Psalm 7, God said he judged the righteous, and he hate the wickedness every day.
Okay.
So when they believe themselves, they go in and watch some and start to labor people, put people down, let them know that God hates them kind of thing there.
Okay.
And I'm saying to you, God, that this station, Patrick Liburd program, talk the truth and nothing but the truth. Mr. Patrick, to you, have a pleasant day. You're here to you.
Thanks a lot, my dear brother. Yes, we do talk the truth. The caller that I was holding, I'm sorry to have kept you so long. But my Straight Talk family, we were looking at we expose rather the lies of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley in particular, who have come across as if, having served in the government, they act as though they don't understand how government works. And they must know, in particular Mark Brantley, must know how the CBI works, because his firm, I believe, still sell legal services. I heard him say that. So, let us examine. If we examine the dotish, I call it the dotish, foolish argument of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley, who continue to talk about government spending $2.4 billion on a prison. It is so imbecile, so foolish. Now, as I said, the St. Kitts government relies on foreign direct investments to cope with the many challenges it faces. CBI accounts for approximately 30% of our GDP. But I'll come back to that. Let me take this call, and I'll come back to that. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd, and how are you?
I am peaceful. And yourself?
I'm wonderful. Good program as usual.
Thank you.
Anyway, I just want to big up my PLP team. Don't bother with the noise. Stasio Williams going to end Sean political career.
I hope so.
You just have a wonderful evening, and it'll be Harris again and again. PLP all the way. You have a good evening, Mr. Patches. Take it easy.
Thanks a lot.
I'll see you when I see you.
I'll see you when I see you, my dear.
Bye.
Harris again. Yes, you said it so right. So, if we use the foolish argument, as I was saying, let us use the argument, the stupid argument about a prison being built for $2.4 billion. Let's just say it's correct. Let's just say it's correct. So, there were 5,500 units of investments, or shares as some people call it. And if they are sold, then government would get $50,000 on each share that is sold. So 5,500 shares at $50,000. What a windfall the government would get. Almost $800 million. If that ain't money you can spend wisely, do so many things with, then what else do you need? My Straight Dog family, hundreds of $millions would be in the government treasury. So this nonsense about $2.4 billion for a prison. So if you talk about expenditure, then talk about the revenue generated as well. But Mark Brantley don't talk about revenue now, because he cannot generate revenue even in his little Nevis. He passed a budget in his last assembly, Island Assembly, with a $98 million deficit. His budget was $229 million for recurrent expenditure. And his revenue forecast was only $131 million. In the red, he took the Nevis economy to the toilet. And you know what happens in the toilet, my Straight Dog family. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller?
Again, you know, when you listen these former MPs talk, I feel like poor people on the road between Town and we not stupid.
Of course not.
We come from the street, you know, we understand things.
Of course.
I mean, these guys, on the video, you know, like Dr. Harris wannabe, you think it's one it is.
Exactly.
You think it's me, it's wannabe, you know. Dr. Harris one, you know. These guys ain't acting like what you. I got my better swear, I met this woman for years, but in moonlight on the bench. She up it. Because you know when a lady call me and tell me, young people think it's better understand where this young man is trying to carry the country, you know. And the woman is so right. The woman is right. Dr. Harris made everybody. He go out and he talk to you. All the MPs we support for years, and some of them have passed me down, and they do more for the organization than them. They don't stay with their demons. Think it's people and stupid, and a one did the night, you know. A one did the night. Only one time MP, one time supporter, two of them, Magic and William Robert. Yeah. They went sit down the place. You know, listen, no one's keep fighting. Little money, magnesium. How much money? It's running away in the country. I
Thank you, Jamdo. I apologize for the quality of that call. Let's take this other caller. Caller, you live. Hello, caller. Okay, we seem to have missed that caller. Again, let's get back to this prison, because we're not making the point. Let us use the foolish, imbecile, dotish argument of Sean Richards and Mark Grant. Let us for a moment just use that argument. Just for a moment, caller. That the units of investment or the shares will be $2.4 billion. Then I beg you, I plead to you, elect the next PLP government so we can get a windfall. The next PLP government will therefore receive $50,000 on each unit of investment. If all are sold, then it will be a total of $275 million US dollars, or 746 million EC dollars in passport processing and due diligence fees. Imagine what a new PLP government can do with almost $1 billion in non-tax revenue from this alternative investment option under the CBI. Imagine that. So when you examine this dotish argument of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley, who continue to talk about government spending $2.4 million on a prison, it is so foolish. Really foolish, my Straight Talk family. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Greetings, good night.
Good night, my brother.
And blessed love to you, my brethren. May your life go safely with the joy of the ancestors and the Almighty.
Same to you, my
brother. You're making some references here tonight, and I'm realizing again. These references have to be very primitive to our people, that we can understand the context. Number one, you have to make an indication towards the Sri Lanka situation. You see, and I would like to say this here. Within the moment that you make some statement tonight about the impact that are implying the food shortage, that is why we say we need sustainable development or not, and sustainable. That just quote where I and I cannot depend on them foreign food, but have our own local food, being I and I guide within our social network. Please, brother, because if we continue looking and all relying on these whole gangster thief in mother countries that are implying their own garbage upon the world when they come to policy making and foreign direct investment. We are not ready for spiritual development one year.
Yes.
Not just in things that need alone I'm talking about, you know. I'm talking about the entire world, because the world is consists about over 33 trillion or more in financial development. Now look at it. We still have people under the economical ladder. Are we really serious about social change in one year? Are we going to these meetings every year? And then we're electing leaders every time election comes. And then you're telling me in the 24th century still, we are still looking at this kind of stage, saying that we are people moving forward in the global world. What kind of moving forward are we moving forward? We signed a deal with Taiwan when we get independent. And Taiwan is the third largest country when it comes to big technology. And look at thinkers and news and how Taiwan will give us the impact within the technical achievement towards us and even other countries who are signing on to them as agreement. But I just left it like that for now, because I know you are ready to educate your people about how we can go forward as a people and not as a political party. Political party could guide our people when we know we have greater challenges than that. What the political party are bringing forward. They all say, I have policies, I have ways of going forward to guide the people. But we still see we have a lot of damages going on here. A lot of damages. But anyway, my brethren, I respect you, and I'm not disrespecting you within your format. But I'm just saying, bring it to the understanding that the people can really know where we are going, as I said already. Education is the key, but you have to have a proper way of how you educate your people. And it's not to be perfect. I mean, it's not a perfect world around here, but you have to have a level of respect between one another. And you like me or you don't, you have a respect still. The future of the generation, not about me. But you, my brother, up in Taylor now, we're not more ganja because ganja have to be free. And I just like to state to the people things and even in today. Anytime I continue fighting on her, your world will fall apart. You'll have a safe night. Blessed love.
Blessed love, my brother. That's Aya. Let's go back to the lines. It's now 6 before 10 o'clock. We started somewhat late through our late connection with ZIZ. So we're going to try and give you back some of that time, as much time as we can give you back, my Straight Talk family. But imagine Sean Richards as well. Sean Richards as well, fighting down a local entrepreneur. But I'll get to that, my Straight Talk family. Let me take this call and I'll come back to that. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Good evening, everybody there in Radioland, and good evening, my friend, Ambassador Ian Patches Liburd. How are you feeling tonight?
I am peaceful. I want you to qualify that, though. My friend for life. I am peaceful. And yourself?
I am going to qualify my friend for life.
Yes, please. Thanks.
I am really at this time riven with consternation. Not only about your actions, but about what's going on in my country. Before I begin, I won't draw it out, I promise. I got to say that a friend loveth at all times. Friend for life.
Yep.
And there's a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. And in you I have found such a friend. What a priceless gift. What a priceless gift. Thanks much for this most incomparable gift. But you have to admit with me that the language employed in the ongoing dialogue / narrative accentuates to us just how far we have sunk. And you won't dare tell me that you're pleased with it, because you're not. Listen to you tonight, and I'm going to say to you, why waste time on Pam and Sean? Both of them are so passe. Last night proved it with the scant crowd they drew, which to me at least, and any thinking person, was a severe rebuke to their very presence in our constituency. Bacoliko is quite a capable and honorable man. I found him to be so, loved and respected by all and sundry in this parish of his birth. Unfortunately, though, he will be summarily rejected. Not for any personal failing, but for bringing a gaggle of convicted thieves and plunderers right on our doorstep. and a leader who is suspect. You remember that inflated sum that disappeared under the watch of the fired son Richard, that hut in Port Dante, to be more specific, without his knowledge or consent? That will not be swept under the rug at this time, this group. I can tell you this. More transgressions, unscrupulous, but I won't. I will in time, though. But now to your hero. Studied cast of strategically positioned family members around him, Timothy Harris, armored cloak, smack some of nepotism. My first question to you is not rhetorical. When I get off of here, I'd be expecting you to answer this. And the second is this. Do you think that Dr. Harris, with all of his considerable parliamentary expertise and the corresponding processes, do you think that Dr. Harris knew, even while signing that Charles Down Accord, of which, the signing of which we both attended, do you think he knew that that piece of paper was virtually worthless and constitutionally invalid? That's what he told us. Want you to answer that too. Timothy Harris crushed Labour, but Labour survived due to Labour's resiliency. He crushed unity according to the vast majority who were within. And yet, tonight, you want us to entrust again the reconstruction of our precious nation into the hands of this master architect of vandalism. I respect your character. I respect your innate intelligence. But from listening to your lopsided feel, my friend, I'm compelled to question both your judgment and your reasoning. But sadly, a man convinced against his own convictions is of the same opinion. Still, I'll end with a quote, because you quoted Abraham Lincoln. And so I'll match you with another that flowed from his lips after he contemplated the wretched condition of the slaves that ripped asunder the fabric of that fledgling nation then, which has almost become all-powerful. He said in closing, I tremble for the fate of my country, and I think that God is a just God, and that his judgment will not sleep forever. The probationary period of team unity is fast waning. Take heed, my friend. I won't be able to warn you much longer.
Thank you, my brother. Take it.
While time still lasts.
Okay, got you loud and clear.
Get home safely.
Thank you, my
Have
brother.
yourself a great one. May God richly bless you. And good evening, folks.
May God bless you as well, my dear brother. And I'm bound. I find it imperative, though, to repeat that quote from Abraham Lincoln, which goes like this: "No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. No man." And we will agree to disagree, but it's hard. It's really hard to find anyone who can criticize and say that Harris done nothing. Prime Minister Harris got everything done. He reduced the public debt. He got rid of the rampant crime and violence inherited from the Douglas administration. He managed the COVID-19 well, the best in the Caribbean at least. And that truth cannot be denied. He ensured that the government lived within its means and made sure that we had this fiscal resilience. Come on, my dear brother. Terence Drew has no political instinct. He wants to end the PAP. Mark Bradley, on the other hand, has sent the Nevis economy to the toilet. And you said it all about Sean Richards. I need not repeat that. But the truth is, our country is stable, even as we speak. Some people ask themselves, why do we need to go to an election? That's the constitutional requirement. That's the only reason why. But we are recovering and we are doing well. And we cannot gamble with the leadership of Tenkis and Nevis at this time in our development. We just cannot. We must stick with the leader who can fix our problems. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your life.
Okay.
Yes,
you could have only met these guys were working with Dr. Harris. Our done bill, our done repair, and most and many things we have done though. Our prison we have done bill, so the new prison we have done bill. Was in there in the morning digging and searching for themselves and see what they can do for their friends and whosoever. Package, we got to look for a new era. We got to move on from them. We got to move on. Don't care anybody come out with a sweet talk and big words and say. Because people with big talk and big words, some of them can't get a job. Some of them can't get a job because they big talk and can't get a work. They got to be into, I want to know when Dr. Jugati, if you don't find a work with some of them. When Dr. Jugati, if you don't find a work with some of them, touches.
Yeah, that's true, but avoid the personalities there. But make a point though. Yeah.
But try to bring down that and say negative thing about the 98% people who literate and trying to uplift our country, and that house is doing well.
Yes.
Because the demand unity banner with PAM system and the PAM system and the KLP. And they want to bring down that. All done so well. Patches can't do jam down. You got a lady coming on all the time and just trying to bring down the hospital. And last year they hear PAM on the platform too, trying to bring down the hospital, and they was in government. They was in government, Patches.
True.
And now they're trying to bring down the hospital and bring down more and many things. Whatever we used to do, or whether they ignore the Prime Minister to do when they was in the cabinet with the Prime Minister. Patches, they want them back. The people they want them back. And we ain't want to let them either. We're going forward with the KLP government, with these young men and women who we got here. We're going to elect them. The people are going to elect them. They're going to decide them toward the fields of the country with Dr. Harris at the end. Because you got the leadership skill. And they'll learn more on them. But you can never understand and all the next year of them. All of the going. Think it's going good on the banner of Dr. Harris.
True.
We ain't going to be there forever. He ain't going to be the leader forever. But now we have a chance to build our country handsomely with a great leader. Okay, then, Patrick.
Thanks a lot for your input. You couldn't say it better than that. There's no other party, none. Tell me, any other party in St. Kitts and Nevis that has a leader that has done so many things for the country in so short a time, that is so efficient and effective like Timothy Harris? Caller, you're live.
Yeah, good evening again, Honorable Patrick Liburd.
Good evening, my brother.
I can't tell what to do, but sometimes who call your friends don't think you and them is friends. Okay. Now, let me go back over to Nevis. I during a young guy coming up, we're hanging around the docks and so on and things. They used to have a man named Mr. Bamem from Nevis. I thought he was wicked until Mark Brantley come on the scene. You understand me? And I can remember a woman by the name, I think was Esdale or something like that. She said, no, I can't take no more of this. And she tried to try more in the water. You understand me? So, but the suitcase, the briefcase went and he scrabbled on to the pier. You know? So when you hear Mark Brantley and them talking, they got things developing in the mind. They have all he talk. I talked to a good businessman from Nevis, a big businessman, and he said he put out a manifesto up there, and all the name is money. So he doing anything to get money, to you know, he kind of lifestyle what he can't afford. You understand me? But in this next general election what we have coming up here, don't frighten. It's going to be Harris and his team again. All them young guys. A lot of them, when he says no, we Harris walk when he done with them. So, Patrick, you have a nice night. Just be safe. We all love you.
I love you more, my brother. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Because you keep it back. Turn on the radio.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Let me tell you what I got to say, because you thinking of a calling? No. I'm glad to see you Thursday night. That is what they vex with you for. Don't study them. Mr. Liburd, you had a caller dear, was on freedom, lashing out the Prime Minister. So what's up with him? He come in on one station and then come in on the other one to make you to believe that he's so nice and you're his friend. I have to talk because I'm getting paid. Nobody refuse money. You know that? But only you want to send me pay. But I still don't call in. Jam down and politics must call born his name. Every station she using the Prime Minister. It's here he born. And a country he born too. Born you should have glad is he were you under a roof.
Yeah, but please,
nobody
please, no,
Mr. Liburd,
yeah, but
please you don't want me call.
No, please don't call.
No, but she too bad. She too bad. She too bad. Is the Prime Minister
No, please, Alice, please. Let's not go down there. Please, let's not go down there. Right? Make a point. Everybody has a view, and everybody has a view. And on Straight Talk, we entertain all views, no matter what you feel about it. As long as we're not going to be libelous, as long as we're going to be defamatory, on this program, we entertain all views. So please avoid calling the names. I don't really want to go down there. Please don't. Okay? I know some people get upset. Enver is my friend, and I state that. We have a different view. That does not say because you have a different view, he's not my friend. He's my friend. I consider him a friend. Right? But he is entitled to his view. Everybody is entitled to their view. And we'll be entertained. So please do not go down there. Caller, you live. Hello, caller?
Yeah, Patrick, I never want to come back in, because of time consuming.
We got time. We have time. We have time. Don't worry about it. We started late. I'm giving you back your time.
Patrick, thank you. This your program before 2015. This is the program that propelled unity together. This program that you're running here tonight. And a lot of people have a lot of respect for you and your program. But I can tell you something, Patrick. You cannot have one individual on one station showing on gasoline on the house and scratching match to burn it down. And then in the night now they come back now, want to paint up the same house where they try to burn down. And your program, you want everybody come here, come on your program, come promote.
Culture. I understand what you say. I don't listen to the other programs, and I am saying to you, on Straight Talk, everybody has their view. You have your view, and others have their view, and I will entertain all views. Unless, again, they are libelous, unless they are disrespectful to people and so on, I have no problem. Right. But everybody has their view. So let's not go down there. We're not going to go down there tonight.
Look,
right? What they say on other radio stations, I'm not responsible for that. They say what they want to say. We have our constitution protects our fundamental rights and freedoms. And one of that is the freedom of expression. So why are we bothering about that? But go ahead. I interrupted you, so I'm sorry. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
What about the word respect for the office? Respect the people in the office. That is all I'm talking about. Do not disrespect people of the office of the who representing the country.
We say that the government. We say that I say that the Prime Minister is the best Prime Minister I've ever seen in St. Kitts and Nevis. To somebody, if it's the worst, what's wrong? That's disrespecting the office? That's not disrespecting the office, that's an opinion.
I didn't disrespect, but anyway, America did not mash up Dr. Harris. And Dr. Harris is no labor and nothing. So all who come in and accusing Dr. Harris and mash up that, let's take the beam of the oil and see who mash up. Thank you. Have a good night, Patrick.
That's fine. I love that. That's good. I really love that. But don't call them anybody's name because they call them on other stations. I'm not bothered about other stations. I'm bothered about this program. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night.
Good night, my dear.
This is Dumpling Harris.
Always Dumpling. Dumpling, you always have that feedback in the background. And I want the whole world to hear you, know.
Well, the whole world hear me. There's a cover to hear me over the radio. The whole world hear me. Patrick, if you remember 2020, I called you and I tell you about the two chief in Wagabon. Me, it is first time I talk about them too.
Yes, you did. I remember
you
that.
Remember that?
I remember that very well.
You have the tape?
Yes, I believe I can find it. Yes.
I want you to find it for me. Okay, I come back on this here now, Patrick. Patrick, about a month ago, I was in the hospital, right? And people on the other side trying to bring down the hospital. But how the hospital is not doing good, and so patient in bed, laying down dead, by patient and the family had to come, and the family they are dead. That could never happen. Patrick, let me tell you, then couple days I was in the hospital. The hospital was full of nurses, doctors, morning, afternoon, and night, and in the 40s. Sometimes at 40 when you're sleeping, you hear the little rattling when you look to see the maid. Come, cleaning. Checking up these dirty rubbish, them sweeping, packing them up. As a caller, and not and you say, nurse, you see the nurse them done on the face. Especially them Chinese people. You understand? And the hospital always don't you call the day to your side. You get your breakfast, you get your lunch, everything. Nothing happens to the hospital. And I don't know why some of them going on the radio and want to bring down a kilo But have nothing doing up in the hospital. 2014 I was up here. And it was. Then we're going on though because Timothy come up there to see me when he come to see Washi. And when he come was already there and the surgical to go around by the they put you in the intensive care. In the roof there was leaking. And when Timothy get in power 2016 he fixed it. And I don't know why they're trying to tell all these lies about the hospital this and the hospital that. But that is the thing. You could never ever keep a good man down. You understand? And I want you to play the tape for me. Because when I call my representative, 36 turned here and answer me. And when I went on the radio on Monday night and talked about it to you, he called me the Tuesday morning and said fake news. I said this can't be fake news. Because you ugly enough. No, and all that all was wrong. You understand? And then he hung upon me. And from that I start thinking a lot of things about these two teaching Wagabond. Please let us hear from me before you go practice. This is Dumpling Harris. See you. Good night.
Thank you. Dumpling, I really tolerated the call, but we're going to have to do something about that feedback. If it's your neighbor's radio, I don't know what you can do about that. But the quality of the call is not really good for broadcast, and it's really, I want to hear you. I want the whole world to hear, but I think going forward, Dumpling, we have to do something about that neighbor's radio that you said, my dear. But it's 20 past at the 10 o'clock hour. I'm going to take just 2 more calls before we wrap tonight our programming. And we gave you back the time that we lost at the beginning. And I trust that we have satisfied you in terms of going forward, my dear. And let's take this call. A caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Patrick.
Good evening, my brother.
How are you doing?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm here listening for the longest while. And a simple question. How one would know when one is lying when the same person don't know what the truth is? What I'm trying to ask, how one would call another one a liar when they don't know what the truth is? Good night.
Good night, my brother. I take that as a rhetorical question. That's a very interesting question. How one would tell another one is a liar when they don't know what the truth is? Very interesting perspective. I don't know if this is what my dear friend Dumpling is talking about, though.
The man, I get upset and I start to call phone number. 39 times I call my representative and he didn't answer me, but because you know, I went on your radio station and talk. They put me up with 2 monkeys when they give me a gift, and the monkey said, laughing after me. But the Indian man over put Dante. The man know, but make a monkey shoot for me when the bell rings. So when I pass it to when election, I'm going to buy my monkey suit and I'm going to buy 2 monkeys. Touch me button and go and say, that is so wicked to me. But no, I can't say me. I say, unity, I with unity. I leave me alone. Then 2 of a bun, man, let go where the boy, you see you.
Yes, my Straight Dog family, I'm going to take this and make this my final call for the night. Caller, you live. Hello, caller? Are you there, caller?
Yes, please. Very, very briefly.
Please, just, I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to need that. Let me get my radio down so I don't get any feedback. Because I just want to say very briefly, having listened to your program, it's richly diverse. Thank you for monitoring the airwaves as you do. Jam down cannot be Mr. Politics, and Mr. Politics cannot be culture. Nor can culture be rap. And of course, Dumpling is in a class all by herself. I just want to say tonight that I enjoy this rich diversification of God's creation. And guess what? Every one of you out there, regardless of the pushback you get, keep calling. This nation would not be quite the same without you. Let's let our voices be heard. Thank you, my friend, for pushing wide open the door with a welcoming arm for every varied view, because guess what? This is how we work it out. And we are working it out, aren't we?
Thank you. I did your 30 seconds. Thanks a lot, my dear brother.
I love your program. Take care of yourself, God. Richly bless you as you continue doing this work. And good evening, everybody.
That's the way we're going to end it, my Straight Dog family, tonight. Because my time is done, I got to run. I want to say tonight that we expose the lies of these two men who were former cabinet members. But Jonel did debunk the lies.
Hayat, a developer comes in, presents a project, and they are allocated X number of shares, which represent citizenships, which they can make available to the investors. The only difference is that with this particular project, when it is completed, it will be turned over to the government to manage and to operate as a prison, which means that the government did not have to find the money to build the prison. The member, myself and the other ministers were part of the approval process for that project while we were in government. It is a private project. It is being done by a private company, as with the Park Hyatt, and so there is no need, it doesn't go through any government process in terms of having to put out tenders for different contracts and all of that.
Yes, my Straight Talk family. It's a private project. And if we use the foolish, imbecile argument of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley, that the shares, or what is called the units of investment, will be $2.4 billion. Then I say, hip hip hooray, because the next PLP government will get a windfall. The next PLP government will therefore receive $50,000 on each unit of investment, each share, which will total $275 million US, or 746 million EC dollars from fees, passport processing fees, and due diligence fees. Imagine what this new PLP government can do with almost $1 billion in non-tax revenue from this alternative investment option under the Citizenship by Investment program. Yes, refurbish the hospitals. Yes, continue roof repair programs for those low-income families who are suffering from leaking roofs. introduce the National Health Insurance Scheme, increase the PAP, and the list goes on and on. So when you examine the dotish argument of Sean Richards and Mark Brantley, who continue to talk about government spending $2.4 billion on a prison, it is so foolish, 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 imbecile. And that's the way we're going to end it. That's my story for tonight, and I'm not going to change it. I am not going to change the fact that the country needs a leader who can fix problems. And the country has a leader who has been proven. Prime Minister Harris got everything done. He reduced the public debt. He got rid of rampant crime and violence. He managed the COVID-19 pandemic. The truth cannot be denied. He ensured that we had reserves. That's why he paid the double salary each year. Double salary, double salary. That's why he gave an increase to civil servants and backdated them. That's why he asks us to forget the arrears and pay your current bills. And we look after that after the elections. But, my Straight Talk family, Harris has demonstrated the ability to not just solve a problem, but to turn that problem into an opportunity. And this is the mark of true leadership. True leadership, my Straight Talk family. The questions I asked tonight, you answered me. And you said we cannot gamble with the leadership of St. Kitts and Nevis at this time. In this time of complexity, unpredictability, and uncertainty, we need a leader who we can trust and who can fix our problems. That's my story for tonight, and I am not going to change it. So until we connect on Thursday, hopefully, for another edition of Straight Talk, I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to thank you, the callers, the emailers, those on social media, Facebook and YouTube. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patrick Liburd, and God's willing, until we connect on Thursday, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my